Before you even think about skipping this, pay close attention. What I'm about to tell you can completely change how a woman sees you in conversation. Most men never learn this truth. They go through life talking to women in ways that quietly destroy attraction without even realizing it. They think they are being nice. They think they are saying the right things. But instead of creating interest, they become predictable, forgettable, and emotionally flat. But you're here. And if you stay with this until the end, you'll walk away with something useful, something practical, something you could use tonight, something a woman may keep replaying in her mind long after the conversation is over. Here's the reality. Attraction is rarely created by saying more. It's often created by understanding more. The men who leave a lasting impression are not always the funniest, the richest, or the most confident men in the room. Very often, they're the men who know how to make a woman feel genuinely seen, not observed, not analyzed, seen. And before we go any further, I want to hear from you. Have you ever said something to a woman that seemed completely ordinary to you, but she remembered it weeks or even months later? Or maybe you've experienced the opposite. You thought you said all the right things, but nothing seemed to connect. Let me know in the comments because what we're discussing today goes far deeper than compliments. It's about emotional impact, and understanding this can completely change the way you connect with people. I'm Mary Smith, host of Senior Mindful Living YouTube channel. Now, let's clear up a common misunderstanding. Many men believe women are primarily influenced by appearance-based compliments. They think attraction grows because of praise directed at physical beauty. But psychological research on emotional connection tells a different story. While physical compliments may feel pleasant, they often fade quickly because they don't necessarily create emotional significance. Think about it this way. Imagine hearing the same compliment dozens, maybe hundreds of times throughout your life. Eventually, it blends into the background. It loses its emotional power. But when someone notices something unique about who you are, something deeper than appearance, the experience feels entirely different. One woman shared a story during a relationship study. She said she could barely remember the men who told her she looked beautiful, but she vividly remembered a man who once told her, "I love the way you think through problems. You notice things most people miss." She remembered it years later. Why? Because he wasn't complimenting her appearance. He was acknowledging her identity. This brings us to the first compliment that often creates a powerful emotional reaction. I love the way your mind works. Simple words, yet they carry remarkable weight. When you genuinely tell a woman that you appreciate the way her mind works, you're recognizing something she has spent years developing. Her perspective, her creativity, her problem-solving ability, her sense of humor, her way of understanding the world. Notice something important here. You're not saying she's smart. You're expressing appreciation for the unique way she thinks. That's a completely different experience. Psychologists often talk about the human need for validation, but not all validation is equal. Surface-level validation satisfies temporarily. Identity-based validation creates deeper emotional resonance because it speaks directly to how someone sees themselves. And here's something fascinating. When a compliment sparks curiosity, it becomes memorable. A woman may find herself wondering, what exactly did he notice? That question alone can keep the interaction alive in her mind long after the conversation ends. Here's a practical exercise. The next time you're talking to someone, listen carefully for something unique about how they think. Maybe they connect ideas creatively. Maybe they explain things with unusual insight. Maybe they see humor where others don't. Instead of complimenting the result, compliment the process. That's where emotional depth often begins. Now let's move to the second compliment, and this one touches an entirely different psychological need. There's something about your energy that stays with me. At first glance, this may sound simple, almost too simple, but consider what this communicates. You're not commenting on what she wore. You're not evaluating her appearance. You're not even describing a specific personality trait. You're describing her effect on you, and human beings are deeply affected by knowing they matter. Many women, just like many men, quietly wonder how they impact others. Did they leave an impression? Were they memorable? Did their presence mean anything? When you sincerely tell someone that their energy stayed with you after they left, You're communicating that the interaction mattered. I remember hearing a story about a retired teacher who attended a reunion years after leaving the classroom. One former student approached her and said, "You probably don't remember this, but your encouragement stayed with me for years." The teacher became emotional, not because she was praised, but because she learned she had made an impact. That's a universal human desire. And when a woman hears that her energy stayed with you, she often becomes curious. What specifically lingered? Was it her laugh, her warmth, her kindness, her confidence? Curiosity creates emotional engagement. That's why mystery, when paired with sincerity, can be so powerful. Now let's talk about the third compliment, and in many ways, this may be the most meaningful of all. I feel calmer when I talk to you. In today's world, calm has become incredibly valuable. People are overwhelmed by noise, pressure, stress, and constant distraction. Genuine emotional peace is surprisingly rare. When you tell a woman that her presence makes you feel calmer, you're revealing something deeply human. You're not saying she excites you. You're not saying she's attractive. You're saying she creates a sense of emotional safety. And safety is one of the strongest foundations of meaningful connection. Research consistently shows that emotional security plays a major role in relationship satisfaction. People naturally gravitate toward individuals who make them feel understood, accepted, and emotionally settled. Think about the people you enjoy being around most. Is it always because they're exciting? Probably not. Often it's because you feel comfortable with them. You can relax. You can be yourself. That's exactly what this compliment communicates. And when delivered sincerely, it can create a powerful sense of trust. But here's where many men make a mistake. They hear compliments like these and treat them as scripts. That's not the point. The words themselves are not magic. The real power comes from authenticity. A compliment only carries emotional weight when it's based on something you've genuinely observed. Women, like all people, are remarkably sensitive to emotional congruence. They often notice when someone is performing rather than expressing something real. That's why timing matters. Presence matters. Tone matters. If you rush through a compliment because you're hoping for a reaction, it usually loses its impact. But when it emerges naturally from genuine observation, it feels entirely different. The deeper lesson here is that emotional connection isn't built through performance. It's built through attention. Most people spend conversations thinking about what they're going to say next. Very few people truly listen. And because true attention has become rare, it has become incredibly valuable. When a woman feels understood, appreciated, and emotionally recognized, she often remembers that experience long after she forgets the exact words. That's how emotional memory works. People may forget details. They rarely forget how someone made them feel. So if you take anything away from today's video, let it be this. Stop searching for perfect lines. Start developing genuine awareness. Notice how she thinks. Notice the energy she brings into a room. Notice the effect she has on people. And when you see something meaningful, express it honestly, not to impress her, not to manipulate her, not to get something from her, but because authentic recognition is one of the most powerful gifts we can offer another human being. That's what creates emotional significance. That's what builds connection. And that's what makes someone memorable. If this video gave you a new perspective on communication and attraction, let me know in the comments which of these three compliments surprised you the most. I'd genuinely love to hear your thoughts. And if you found value in today's discussion, please like the video, share it with someone who could benefit from it, and subscribe for more insights into psychology, relationships, emotional intelligence, and meaningful human connection. Because understanding women isn't about learning tricks. It's about learning to see people more deeply. And when you learn that skill, every conversation begins to change.